reciprocity. It's a word that's very important in my plan because, you know, we generally don't charge tariffs. China will charge us a 200% tariff. Brazil is a big charger. The biggest charger of all is India. They probably charge as much. I mean, I think they probably charge more than, in many ways, China. But they do it with a smile, you know, they do it sort of a nicer charge. They say, oh, thank you so much for purchasing from India. They're going to call us, or I will call them and say, look, we can continue to play this game, or we can save a lot of energy and pain and bookkeeping, and we'll just all drop the tariffs, right? We'll just all drop the tariffs. Or we can get paid royally every time a shipment of their goods comes to our shores, and we'll make a lot of money. One way or the other, we win. We're not going to be a nation in decline for very long. Perhaps the most important element of my plan to make America extraordinarily wealthy, again, has to do with reciprocity. It's a word that's very important in my plan because, you know, we generally don't charge tariffs. I started that process. It was so great with the vans and the small trucks, et cetera, I told you about. But we really don't charge. I mean, China will charge us a 200% tariff. Brazil is a big charger. The biggest charger of all is India. India is a very big charger. We have a great relationship with India. I did, and with especially the leader, Modi. He's a great leader, great man. Really is a great man. He's brought it together. He's done a great job, but they probably charge as much. I mean, I think they probably charge more than, in many ways, China. But they do it with a smile, you know. They do it sort of a nicer charge. They say, oh, thank you so much for purchasing from India. Harley-Davidson came to the White House a long time ago during my second year, and I met with them. And they were based, I guess, in Wisconsin. And I said, how's business? Good, good. What are the bad countries? Well, India is very tough, and they gave me some others. Why? Tariffs. I said, why, what are they? And they had said like 150%, some massive amount. I said, so do you sell many motorcycles? And because you'd think people want to buy a Harley, right? Anyway, no, we sell very few in India, but they want us to go there. They said, if you go there and build your plant there, we're not going to charge you anything. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I said, I don't like that. And lo and behold, I see they went and they built the plant, and now they do their business with India. They probably do it outside of India, too. Plenty. They built a very big plant. Many countries, they do that. And then all of a sudden you hear that they're leaving Milwaukee or they're leaving wherever they may be located. It's very sad to see it. And it's so simple. I mean, you know, this isn't like Elon with his rocket ships that land within 12 inches on the moon where they wanted to land. Or he gets the engines back. That was the first I realized. I said, who the hell did that? I saw engines about 3-4 years ago. These things were coming, cylinders, no wings, no nothing. And they're coming down very slowly, landing on a raft in the middle of the ocean someplace with a circle. Boom. Reminded me of the Biden circles that he used to have, right? He'd have 8 circles and he couldn't fill them up. But then I heard he beat us with the popular vote. I don't know. Couldn't fill up the 8 circles. I always loved those circles. They were so beautiful. They were so beautiful to look at. In fact, the person that did them, that was the best thing about the level of that circle was great. But they couldn't get people, so they used to have the press stand in those circles because they couldn't get the people. Then I heard we lost. Oh, we lost. No, we're never going to let that happen again. But we've been abused by other countries. We've been abused by our own politicians, really more than other countries. I can't blame them. We've been abused by people that represent us in this country. Some of them stupid, some of them naive, and some of them crooked, frankly. But interestingly, it's often those allies that we consider to be friends that have been the greatest abusers. We have some great abusers. I'll give you an example. The European Union sounds so nice. The European Union of countries. Oh, it's so nice. They're brutal. We have a $200 billion deficit with them, now higher than that, 250 something. And like I asked at the time, Angela, how many Chevrolets do we have in the middle of Berlin? Oh, I do not know. Perhaps none. You're right, Angela. You're right. How about Frankfurt? How many do we have? How many Fords do we have in Frankfurt? Oh, I don't think any. And yet they send their cars to us like a bunch of dummies we are. BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, by the millions and millions and millions. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that crap anymore, okay? Now they're going to have to play by our rules. They're going to have to play by our rules. But China, of course, was the biggest abuser. I mean, they were a professional abuser. They did things to us, and they go down as a developing nation. We are a developing nation. Well, we're a developing nation, too. Just take a look at Detroit. Detroit's a developing area, a hell of a lot more than most places in China. So we're not going to let this happen any longer, and I don't think it'll be possible for bad politicians to stop it. I don't think so, because we've suffered too long and too hard. And I fixed much of it during my 4 years, but felt that during the COVID period, it would not be the right time to be doing this with countries. I renegotiated with Japan, I renegotiated with South Korea, I renegotiated with many. But, you know, with the COVID, everybody was just literally devastated by that scourge. It was devastated. It was not the right time. So I had to slow it up a little bit. I was hitting them really hard. Shinzo Abe was great. He was assassinated. What a great man he was. But I went to Shinzo. I said, Shinzo, we have to. I got to know him very well. He was really a friend of mine. He was a great man, actually, loved by the Japanese people. He got sick. He had to take a leave of absence for a period of time, but he was going back, and he would have gone back and easily gone back. And he was just getting ready to do it. He was much better. I think he was probably cured of what he had. And he was going back. But I said to him, Shinzo, we have to talk about trade. I'm sorry to bring it up. I'm sorry. This is the most one-sided deal I've ever seen. You send millions of cars to us, and we can't send you a car. They didn't accept any of our cars. You send all of your farm products to us, and you don't want to accept our farm products. I'm sorry, Shinzo, we're going to have to negotiate something. He looked at me and goes, I know. I said, what do you know? He said, well, I know that you were going to be coming back to me, and I know that it hasn't been fair. I said, well, how did it happen? He said, well, we'd ask for things, and the Americans would agree to it. Your representatives, your presidents, Republicans too, by the way. I'm not talking just Democrats. He said we were friends. He would say this. I probably wouldn't say it if he were around, because it's not very nice, but he told the truth. He said, I said, how did you get these deals? He said, we would ask, and they would approve. And we were amazed ourselves, but I knew you'd be coming to see me. And I said, I have to see you, Shinzo. And we made a new deal with Japan, but we were stuck with an old one, so I couldn't negotiate as good as I normally would. But we made it palatable, and we were going to really make it palatable when this one came up. But he was great. But he looked at me, I'll never forget it, quite. He said, he called me Donald. Donald. I knew that you would be coming back because I knew that you understood it. But he also said that other people didn't. It was, actually it was quite sad, actually. And it's that way. I would look at these deals and say, who negotiated these deals? They were so bad. It's amazing that we even exist, but we have 36 trillion in debt. We do have 36 trillion. We can't forget that. So it's not like, oh, gee, that's been, we've been a little bit unlucky or something. No, we've been just, for years and years and years, we've been accumulating. We'd have these deficits that are monstrous. We had 5, 6, 7, 800 billion deficit with China, just alone with China. And today it was announced we have the highest deficit we've ever had, almost $2 trillion. Think of that. We have and we have the highest deficit we've ever had with China. And that won't last long. It's not going to last long. We'll be able to do something about it. Because China wants to do business with us, but they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid people. And then they see our president, and then they see a person that is representing the Democrat Party and got no votes and was the first one out. She was the first one out. Think of it. She was the first one out. She never made it to Iowa. 22 people running, and she was the first one to quit. And now she's running, and it's all right. But nobody's ever had to run against two people before. First, I had to run against him. Then we had the debate, and his numbers weren't good, and he, looked like he was going to lose. So they said, "You're going to lose, and we want you out." And eventually, he agreed to go out. He didn't want to. He's a very angry man, by the way, and he hates her. And then it was a question. They have a person in the state who some people talked about. They had a lot of people, but they had about 12 people, and they put her in. 12 people plus her. She was number 13. She was rated number 13, too. They had 12 people that they wanted more, but they didn't want to be politically incorrect, and they chose her, and we're running against her. But if she gets in, it'll be a disaster for this country. Basically, if a country or any country is charging us tariffs, very important, reciprocal. If they're charging us tariffs for a certain product or tariffs at all, if they're charging us tariffs at all, which almost all of them do, then we will likewise charge them tariffs, and we will quickly reciprocate. In other words, we have countries that are charging us 150% tariff, and we charge them 2%. And I actually went to a politician, a senator from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You'll figure out, because he wasn't able to run because I wouldn't endorse him, because I called him the anti-tariff person. I thought he was not a bright person. And he was one of the few that said, no, we cannot charge tariffs. I said, but they're charging us 150%. So can we charge them 100%? Sir, no, we can't. Why? It's not free trade. I said, really not free trade? Well, what about them? No, sir, it's not free trade. Can we charge them 50? They're charging us 150. Can we charge them 50? He goes, no, sir, it's not free trade. I said, you're either the dumbest human being I've ever met, or you're a crook. One or the other. And he's no longer a senator. He decided not to run. But I think it was a disgrace. I had a lot of problems with him. But basically, one of two things will happen. They're going to call us, or I will call them and say, look, we can continue to play this game, or we can save a lot of energy and pain and bookkeeping, and we'll just all drop the tariffs. Right? We'll just all drop the tariffs. Or we can get paid royally every time a shipment of their goods comes to our shores, and we'll make a lot of money. One way or the other, we win.